All right, what is up, guys? Evan Aldo here. Thank you so much for joining. If you enjoy the content, leave a thumbs up. Wanted to show you some updates to the premium Discord. Had a Bitcoin swing short in. That hit the first take profit over like a day or two period, which is pretty nice for the short. And then I added to it right now. It's a risk-free trade. I probably wouldn't, on the weekend, wouldn't just be adding to a trade. There's just not, I don't think there's enough confidence kind of either way to really put in a trade right now. There were some possibilities I was also talking about kind of up here a little bit. If you're interested, the link is down below. We also have two new amazing analysts. Both of these guys are excellent, Crypto Bullzone and Lanacore. Lanacore is part of the Market Cipher Academy. Crypto Bullzone, I've been in one of his groups, has had some amazing calls. So both of these guys are excellent. Guys, this is a really good value right now for what we're doing with the premium Discord. I think it's going to help out you guys a lot. If you're interested, link down below. We can't have like too many people, all seeing the same thing, all making kind of the same trades. We're not going to be right 100% of the time, but you know how bots work, market makers work. They're all seeing what you're doing, so we're going to have to raise the prices pretty soon, depending on demand. So check it out down below if you're if you're interested. I think it's a really good value. So yeah, also if you guys are interested, real quick, we are doing another, just only with my link, another $500 giveaway. First place gets $250. The top 10 all get something in the trading competition. You got some pretty good odds here, obviously, because it's only with my trading competition. So I mean, how many people? I'm a 12,000K subscriber channel. How many people are going to sign up? You got to sign up and do this. You got some pretty good odds here. MEXC, you don't need a VPN. Also, I believe this exchange has some of the lowest fees you can find anywhere. So check it out if you are interested. So yeah. Let's get into the analysis, and let's start with the weekly here on Bitcoin. This is the first thing I want to tell you guys about right now. So we have the split RSI starting to come down. CryptoFace has been talking about this a lot for good reason, obviously. It kind of marked the top over here. If it's like this, where it's coming down, that red dot's going to be a buy signal, and you'll come up higher. Now, it's usually more so that, especially since these RSIs are split a bit more too. They're split kind of when it was curving down a bit more, which makes it even more bearish here. So I'm more in the ballpark that, I could be wrong, I don't know, I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm more in the ballpark that's going to be a little bit different because one, history doesn't repeat exactly, and two, the DXY is showing some strength. And 30K is a big psychological area. I'm thinking 31K will be the local top here most likely, and I think this next red dot will probably mark the top. I don't know. I just think that's what's most likely the scenario here. Obviously, the strategies don't change, depending on what happens. The 2-week, I think, for Dcaing and for long term here is going to be, you do have the trend reversal on the 2-week too. This marked close to the top, you know what I mean? Kind of close to the top here. You did have another jump up. It could go either way here. But what I'm seeing here is the 2-week VWAP coming down, money flow coming into the red. And by the way, the DCA strategy that I was talking about, DCA in for about the next 10 months, well, really next 8 months. Time flies. I'm thinking until kind of what I'm doing. I started when this crossed into the red here, stopped for a little bit while I was in the green, started again. Well, now we're back in the red, DCAing every week for Bitcoin. I'm going to hopefully do this as long as this stays in the red. My guess is kind of until December, January. So whether or not, we pump up to, I don't know, 40K, 50K, 200K, I think I'll be in a good position with it. It's more of a long-term strategy right there. And then I'm kind of waiting for ETH. Well, I'll show you what I'm waiting for in ETH. It's kind of on the 12-day to go into the red because, Bitcoin keeps looking way more bullish, or Bitcoin looks more bearish. It looks like ETH will continue to bleed against Bitcoin. The majority of altcoins will continue to bleed against Bitcoin. That's what it's looking at right now, and that's what we saw in 2019. It's a lot of similarities to that area. So if we get into some of the lower analysis too, and this is another one of the reasons why I think we might be kind of topping out here, is because, look, money flow coming down, bearish div, obviously this one didn't really pump up higher, but it was a sign. Like a lot of times you'll see that bearish div and then you pump up a little bit higher, just get some more crumbs there, and then you kind of finally come down. That's what it's looking like here. That's what it's looking like. I'm not saying, you can't come up, pump up even higher, but, if you look at that bearish div right here, this is a pretty big drop down. If it's like that, you're coming down back to 25. Keep in mind, 25.9, around 26K, that's a 200 weekly moving average. That's a huge area. It's not as big of an area as it used to be because everybody knows about it. Price doesn't take it. It doesn't respect it as much as it used to. But I do think that If we lose that area, it still is a pretty bearish sign, and it would kind of potentially, if you lose that area, stay below it for a good amount. You do something, I don't know, like this, a nice summer lull down to 20K, maybe even lower. You do that, it kind of makes it look like this jump above 25K here was more of just a panic buy with the banks kind of going down. And if there's no more banks going down and you just see an economy slowing, you got to realize too, guys, people that bought down here, they're going to be taking profits at some point. And it's looking like it's going to be that 30K. So see economy slowing, going into recession, all those things. I'm not seeing a compelling enough case for Bitcoin to, really continue forward here and kind of act like gold. I even think gold will kind of see a pretty decent summer low, see a summer kind of correction as well. I think kind of all traditional markets, Bitcoin, gold, silver, and traditional markets as well, we'll see that kind of summer lull. And I think you'll see more strength in Bitcoin towards the end of the year. I think you'll see more strength in gold and silver towards the end of the year and a potential other bottom. Now, the thing too on the weekly that we got to keep in mind here is, if it's like 2019, I'm not saying it's going to be, but if it's like this, you're in for a pretty rough ride. Keep that in mind. That's a case to come down even lower. These RSIs have never been this gapped on the weekly. That would be the case for that to happen. I'm not saying it will happen, but there is a case for that to happen. There absolutely is a case. Now, if we go on to some of these lower time frames, daily's starting to come up with a VWAP, but it's looking more like it's going to be more of a situation where you come down deeper with the red here. That's what it, based on the higher time frames, bearish divs, all that, it's looking more like this type of situation. Not a crash down that quickly, hopefully not, but you get what I'm saying. More of a situation where you go deeper into the red and you continue to come down to potentially 25, test those areas, maybe even lower into May, June, July, 24K, maybe even 22K. We don't know that, but that's that trajectory right there. If you were to do something, obviously this would be a big drop down from kind of that area to there. That's 24%. Let's just see kind of from where we are right now. Yeah, 25, that's down to 20K. I think it's absolutely in the cards here. If you look at the 12 hour, so this is getting into more of shorter term, what we may see, there is a little bit more of a potential if we move on to linear, potential to come up a little bit higher here. A lot of times, these, when you're in that downtrend, these green dots kind of roll over, you get a red dot right after a yellow X, but you do have some gapped RSIs coming up, so there is a little bit of strength. I added to the swing short, but that's a risk-free trade. Just if we, I'm kind of hoping or betting that we're going to reject from this area and continue forward. And it would be a good add if that happens. If we come up higher, it's going to get stopped on profit, and then we'll kind of reevaluate there. That's what I'm looking at. Money flow coming up on the 3 hour as well. So, it is looking a little bit better, but keep in mind here, the 2 hour VWAP coming down, you may get a trigger wave as we are rejecting off of this area around, 27.8K, double spiral line pocket. There's definitely a decent possibility that you just come back into the red here, come deeper into the red, and then you come back down to these levels, 26. Could happen rather quickly. Price goes down quicker than it goes up. So keep that in mind, guys. And let's move on to Ethereum here. A lot of the same. The 4-day has now confirmed a bearish div. Money flow isn't exactly curving back down here yet. And this one's interesting too. There's always going to be a case to come up a little bit higher. If you look at this, kind of how it was, you had that higher, see, compared this one to over here, that one, you came down, then you had one more jump up. That can happen. Keep in mind, history never repeats exactly. I'm sure there definitely was a case to be made here with the gapped RSIs that was the top right there. And then in the grand scheme of things, you ended up coming lower. So keep that in mind. Either way, you're probably going to come back lower. These EMAs are probably going to come into the gray again. I think that's going to be a good accumulation phase for Ethereum as well. If you look at the, kind of the weekly on Ethereum, gapped RSIs, they're not coming down right, just yet. This would be the case to come up a little bit higher. Like I said, guys, we're in, the green right now. Sometimes when you come into the green, that becomes, that becomes kind of the sell signal. So keep that in mind. We do have the daily, money flow generally coming out still in the daily. Losing this fib level right here, I wouldn't say that's particularly bullish. I wouldn't say that's bullish. I would say that's more bearish. EMA is starting to turn gray here in the 12 hour. 10 hour, they're all gray, as well as Bitcoin. Money flow generally coming out in the 10 hour. You do have these, green dots here With the money flow, I've seen it many times. A lot of times you roll over, get a yellow X, or just get another red dot and continue lower. Keep that in mind, guys. And now if we move on to these lower time frames, coming up to this, fib level, we are on a weekend. It wouldn't be surprise me if we wick up here, mess around with this area, wick up, stop everybody out trying to short, then come back down, stop everybody out trying to long. It's harder to trade in the weekends, guys. I always tell new traders, might want to sit back on the weekends. I just try to, either take risk-free trades, add something that's already in profit with profits locked in, change the stop loss to the new average entry point. That's a good thing I like to do on weekends, or just, kind of take a break, do some ice baths, calming, things like that. And then money flow generally coming out here in the 15s. So I would say in the short term, a bit more bearish in ETH, sometimes unpredictable. On the weekends, I want to look at XRP real quick. There was one, just to show you one quick thing here. Look at the split RSIs right here. They're not as, here is even worse, but look at how this kind of ended the 2019 rally, and then you were down all the way down. This is the trajectory if that kind of happens, and then you're back at pandemic lows here. So, and your RSIs are even more gapped. I'm not saying that's going to happen. The money flow does look good here with the trigger wave, but it could absolutely happen. We got regulatory FUD, economy slowing down, unemployment rates rising. As long as more banks don't go down, which I don't think there's a real strong reason to believe they will, we could absolutely see a lot of altcoins really get decimated here pretty badly, at least against their Bitcoin pairs. And yeah, I want to look at the DXY a little bit. So that's a little weird right now. I mean, if you look at face value weekly, looks pretty horrendous, pretty bearish. 3-day, in terms of money flow, looks bearish, but look what's happening. You're getting this nice double bottom right off of a big area, 100, which is a huge psychological area too. You're about to get that bullish div right there. Is it on regular candles yet? It's on regular candles. That confirms in 1 day here. That might be it. That might be it for the Dixie, where it just starts to come back. Confirm that one on the, on the 2-day. Money flow starting to come back down. I do think you could make a lower low if, maybe never say never. Maybe we could still see some type of little mini altcoin season in the next week or two. This makes a lower low. Maybe Bitcoin and ETH don't get to their previous local highs, but they come back up a little bit. Maybe retest 30K or something. This tests like 99 or something, then gets a jump up. That's one possibility. I'm more in the camp that, this daily is going to come into the green, and we're finally going to kind of break through here and start to come up, all these yellow X's. I would not count out the Dixie just yet. I think there's a decent argument to make that this could even hit high 120s into like middle of next year, and traditional markets may not bottom out until then. I mean, we could be in for a long, slow bleed here. Keep that in mind, guys. Also, a quick look at Bitcoin dominance. You are starting to see a few more kind of bullish signs, especially the 16-hour gapped RSIs. I believe that's a bullish div, or at least close to it. Let's see. Yeah, I would give it to you. Yeah, that's probably a bullish div right there, just about. And then you could come up a little bit more. I do think it's possible. I think if we do, continue bullish a little bit, some alts ride, you could come down to like 46, somewhere around there, then continue forward. I think either way, there aren't many signs of slowing down just yet, other than kind of the red dot here, higher anchor wave there, high anchor wave there brought us down a good amount. But in this environment, and if you look at the monthly, this looks so good. I think that would overpower that. I don't think this is going to give us what a lot of people are hoping for in an altcoin season. That's just me. Anyway, guys, that's all I got right now. Check out the premium Discord link down below. Check out the trading competition only with my link down below. You got some really good odds of winning $250. If you know how to trade, obviously trading is risky, but if you know how to trade, if you know good risk management, there is a good shot of winning something, being in the top 10 there, I think. And if you guys are new, I have a really good trading course, evanaldo.com, link down below with the discount code. A lot of people have really liked it. A lot of good trading strategies, risk management, a lot of things that will put you into a really good position. A lot of people have taken the course and really changed the way they traded from it, and really learned a lot of things that I think a lot of people won't tell you. So yeah, check that out if you guys are interested. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.